The LA fires, completely devastating, completely just consuming our minds, our hearts, our emotions, everything. I don't think I know anyone who can believe what we are witnessing on TV. And for those of you who don't know, I live in Rhode Island, so I'm across the country. However, it still affects all of us because we have feelings. We are concerned for these people. Thousands of people have lost their homes. Thousands of people have lost everything that they have accumulated over gosh only knows how many years. People have had to pick up their children, their pets, and just go at a moment's notice. So I thought I would come on here and just talk about 5 things we all should prepare for in case of any type of natural disaster. I am no expert. I'm just a person. I am just a person who has literally been thinking about this over the past several days since I've been watching this, like most of you, on TV. I will have to start off, though, of how disturbed I've been with comments I have seen on celebrities' posts of them losing their home, and then people coming out and saying the meanest things. Well, you're rich, you can rebuild. You have money, what difference does it make? These people have lost their home. These people have lost everything. Melissa Rivers, daughter of the late Joan Rivers, who I adored her. I had the immense honor of meeting her a couple of times. And I love Joan Rivers. I love her forever and ever. Well, her daughter lost everything. And she said, I think she grabbed her mom's Emmy and a picture of her dad. And everything she had from her parents and of her mom's legacy was in that house that she lost in the fire. She can't replace that. She can't replace those memories. And I understand they're just things as long as you have your life. And that is so true. So true. And we can't change that reality. However, I know that if I lose things that, a few things that I'm holding on to from my mom and my dad, I would feel so hurt about it. And it would bother me. I can't imagine these people who have had parents with a lifetime career in the entertainment industry. So we just have to be kind. And, I just don't get the mean comments. It's all I got to say on that, really. Just don't even think about anything mean. Yes, they have money, but they're still people, just like the rest of us. And I did talk about James Woods on my show the other night. He is a humongous actor. He actually has a home in Rhode Island, and he has a home in LA. He went on this news outlet and talked about how he was told his home had burnt down. And he thought about his elderly neighbor. I think he is in his 90s, and called one of his other neighbors and said, you have to go and check to make sure, he's out of the house. His neighbor went in. He said, no, he's not here. James Woods said, no, you have to check the back room. The man was still there with dementia. Allegedly, firefighters had told his caregiver to leave and left this man there in the house. So the neighbor of James Woods, I believe, got the man out of the house and to safety. So James Woods really, and his neighbor, saved this man's life. But thankfully, James Woods found out that his home is still intact. So that was a blessing to him, and it was a blessing that he was able to save his neighbor's life. So many things going on, and it's true, like James Woods had said in this video interview that he did, we just have to look out for each other. But before, we talk more about that, we have to also think about ourselves. We have to think about, what are 5 things? I actually have a bonus thing at the end. But what are 5 things all of us should be thinking about before a natural disaster hits any of us. So the first thing I thought about was to have a grab and go emergency bag. You know, some of us are on all kinds of medications. So, you know, at least have your medications. I know it's kind of difficult to put medications in a bag to sit there because we all know how the insurance companies work. You can order 30 days in advance, and you can't go before that. You have to stick with a regular schedule on what you order for medications. So it's not really plausible to probably do that with your regular medications. However, you can do that with supplements, vitamins that you take on a daily basis. You can definitely keep those types of things in a grab and go emergency bag. You know, IDs, passports, those types of things, snacks, flashlight, phone charger, a portable phone charger. Of course, you can't have one that plugs in because you're in a natural disaster. Where are you going to plug it in? So you just have to think of some of these type of things to have in a grab and go bag just in case of an emergency. And then on that note, well, we can't stick our ID in a grab and go emergency bag because we need our ID at all times. You need to have that. So maybe all of us should consider taking photocopies, digitally taking copies of our IDs, our birth certificates, our passports, and then uploading them to the cloud and then emailing them to ourselves so that we can have it, because you never know. And at least if you have it on the cloud and in your possession, in your email, hopefully that could help in case you needed it. Also, pets. I mean, how many of us have a pet? Most of us have pets. So for those of us who do have an animal that we are taking care of and that is in our life, we need to maybe put together a little bag for them too. You know, keep rotating food, have some food put in a bag with some bottles of water. If they're on any type of medications or creams or anything like that, if you can put it aside, at least get the bags made. I know that we keep our medications all in the same place. So be easy to grab those in case we needed to in an emergency and then put them in the emergency bag. Like I said, it's unrealistic to keep medications that are prescribed in a grab and go emergency bag because you need to take them on a daily basis. You can only get them refilled so many times and all of that. So maybe just the essentials that your pet needs. Make sure to rotate the food in case you're keeping food set aside. But just a good thought to do something like that just to keep for your pets. And an escape route, oh my gosh, something I never thought about before. And on the news, there was an incident during the LA fires where people are told to evacuate. And I think it was the Pacific Palisades Parkway, if that's even the name of a road. And I apologize if it's not. I don't recall what the name of the road is. Hopefully that's it. If not, I'm sorry. But there was a road, everyone was told to evacuate from this particular area. The road was completely jammed with traffic. And then what started happening was people were just getting out of their cars and running. So they're just leaving their cars there in the middle of the road so no one could get out. Definitely something to think about before a natural disaster occurs is where are you going to go and how are you going to get there? We're lucky. We live in the country, we live in a town, but we live kind of on the outskirts of the town. So our path out is pretty clear. You know, wouldn't it be really jammed with traffic? You know, hopefully not. But for people who live in cities and largely populated areas, you really got to think about where am I going to go? How am I going to get there? And when am I going to leave? And you know, I got to get to that last. We'll keep that one last, my bonus one. But number 5, make sure you stay in touch with family and friends. That's another huge one. Make sure you guys communicate about, you know, Are you going to have a meetup plan? Are you going to leave together in the event that something like this, God forbid, were to happen? Just communicate, have a plan in place. Okay, we're going to meet here just in case we all have to bug out or whatever we have to do. This is where we will eventually meet. Just a good idea to keep the lines of communication open with everyone in your life because, again, you just never know. These poor people had no time. I read one instance where a family had 17 minutes to get out of their home, and they had children, 2 small children. The stories just go on and on and on. It is so heartbreaking, so heartbreaking. But the bonus tip that I could think about and I came up with was, and this is from watching all of the news that has been happening on TV. If you're told to evacuate, evacuate. I don't think they're going to, town officials or firefighters are just going to tell people to evacuate for no reason. I think they're telling you because they know what's coming. There are people in the LA fires, there are a few heroic stories. There was one, I just watched it this morning. A gentleman saved his home because he kept hosing down little fire spurts that were popping up around his house. And he did come out and say that if the fire department, even a few firefighters had come out to put out these little fire spurts, the neighborhood he lives in probably would have been spared. But he was the only house, is the only house to remain standing in the neighborhood that he's in, which is devastating. However, I don't know. I mean, it's just so hard to say unless you're in that situation. Some of you may say, well, you can't just sit there and say. It's true, I can't, because I don't know if I'm in that situation what we would do. My husband, being the hero that he is, who knows? He might try to put a fire out around our home just to make sure our home is safe. But the majority of the people, that you've heard from throughout the past several days, you just have to evacuate if they tell you to. I think that's just the safest thing to do. Start thinking about what would be super important for you to grab if you had to leave your house at a moment's notice, because you have no time to even think about it. So I do also think, being aware of your neighbors and your family and your friends and just having a plan and just talking about it, just keeping those lines of communication open, I think is really, really important. And I think it's really important for all of us to have care and compassion and love for all of these people who have lost everything, even just losing some of their things, or maybe people who still have their house standing and their neighbors' homes on either side of them are gone. You have to feel for these people and make sure you're only donating. If you're donating to organizations, make sure the organizations you're donating to are giving 100% back to the community they're supposed to. That's huge right now. I can only imagine the scams that are starting to pop up. I haven't seen anything yet, but they're out there. So just make sure you're donating to a reputable organization who's giving 100% of that money back to where it needs to go. And right now, that's to the communities. So guys, I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all well. And I hope you just consider maybe thinking of a plan just in case, because none of us ever know. This could happen at the drop of a hat. Talk to you soon, guys. Have a great day.